Hi folks, welcome back to my channel where we discuss and solve LeetCode SQL solutions. So the problem that we have in front of us right now, LeetCode 1082, Sales Analysis 1. Okay, so let's see what we have got here. So we have been given a table called product, which has product ID, name, and the price of the product. Product ID is the primary key. Great, fine. So other column that we have, oh sorry, other table that we have here is the sales table. We have seller IDs, product IDs, okay, so and a buyer ID. So it gives us information about every sale, who was the seller, who was the buyer, what product was sold and bought, when did the sale occur, sale date, quantity, and price. Important thing to note here, this table has no primary key. It can have repeated rows, which means one seller could be selling the same product to another buyer, let's say at the same sale date or with maybe a different quantity or even a same quantity but a different price. I mean, there's no primary key on this, right? So that's what it mentions. It mentions that product ID is the foreign key to product table. So this is how we could join both the tables if need be. We need to write an SQL query that reports best seller by total sales price. Okay, so best seller, total sales price. This would be a keywords in this question. We need to focus on it. If there is a tie, report them all. Return the result in any order. Okay, fine. Let me break down the problem statement, right? What do we need to do here? First is we need the best seller. So first of all, how do we find the best seller, right? We need to find the total sales for each seller. Only then, once you have a total sales for each seller, you'll be able to determine which of these sellers have the highest total sales. So we and by total sales, right? So that's why we try to find the total sales for each seller. And then what do we do is return all sellers with max sales. Okay, and why do we return all sellers with max sales, right? And not just to the one seller with the max sale, because it says if there is a tie, there could be such use cases or test cases. We need to report them all. Fine, great. So let's start coding this up or writing a SQL query. Start with a select statement. Okay, what do we select first, right? We need to select all our seller ID. Where do I get this? I get my seller ID from my sales table. Okay, so now I select my seller ID. I need the sum total sales for each seller. So what I do is I sum the price column. Okay, I'll sum the price and I will rename this as, let's say, total sales per seller. Okay, and okay, let's see. We get the seller ID, we get sum. Now we have used an aggregate function sum over here. So we need to group by this entire data set. So how would we group it by? We would group it by the seller ID since it's sales per seller. Okay. One other thing that I notice over here is what I could do is I could take now since this table has repeated rows, right? I don't want uh, I would take a distinct of all my seller IDs, right? I don't want any errors in multiple rows of with same seller ID. Okay, so this would give me my first part, right? Total sales per seller for each of the seller. Now I need to use this particular uh, output, right? So this is my temporary output. So let me put that in a common table expression, what we call a CTE. So this is my temp table CTE as this. Okay, now let's move on to the solution, the final solution that we're looking for. SQL query that reports the best seller. Okay, so we need to report the seller. I'm just looking at the output. They just need the seller ID. So I'll use select seller, sorry, that's a typo. Select seller ID from CTE. And now this is where is this thing gets tricky. We need to find that particular seller ID which has the max, the total sales per seller. So what I would do is let me use this, where the total sales per seller is the maximum. Okay, so now how do I use maximum? I need to use another query inside of this. What I would do is I would use the same CT, right? From CTE, I'm just writing another query to find out what is the max of total sales per seller, which is this, yeah, column that we calculated over here. So max of total sales per seller from CTE. Pull this bit a little here for better visibility and clarity. Okay, so I selected seller ID where the total sales per seller is the maximum. Let me run this code. Accepted. Let's see, submit it. Great, it's success. Thanks guys. Keep watching. Thank you.